In today's episode, we're going to TIG weld some coped pipe joints. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode from Pacific Arc Tig Welding. My name's Dusty. I'm a welding artist from Vancouver Island, Canada. I do art projects on 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional surfaces. And on my channel, I love showing off and teaching the art of TIG welding. So if you're new to the channel, be sure to bounce back, check out some of the previous episodes. There's a ton of episodes for you to watch. So a couple weeks ago, I got a DM on Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram, it's right there. In response to a picture I posted, I was TIG welding some coped joints, where I was TIG welding some bosses to some tubing, pretty small stuff, 7/8 outside diameter, 0.65 wall, pretty thin stuff too. Not too thin, I guess, but it was a lot of fun. Anyway, this person had asked, how would they go about welding a joint like so? What gear do they use? How do they set the machine up? And how would I go about doing it? So today, we're gonna go over all that stuff. So the first thing we need to go over here is our materials that we're gonna use. So I'm basically mocking up a little joint that I like here. Anybody that watches my channel knows one of my favorite things in the world is riding BMX. I love BMX so much. One of my favorite joints I always look at when I check out a BMX frame is this joint right up at the front here. It's where the head tube meets the top tube and the down tube. It's a cool intersection you see on a lot of bikes. They have nice looking TIG welds there. So I'm gonna try and mock that up. So I got some 1-inch stainless steel tubing here, 0.65 wall. It's pretty thin, not terribly thin, but it'll be enough to give us a little bit of a challenge here today. But basically, I have already coped all of these pieces of tubing here, or pipe, whatever you want to call them. They're measured from outside to outside, so usually that's called tubing. They've all been coped and cleaned for the most part. I'll give them a quick clean up here with some acetone before we get going. But basically, they've been coped so they fit nice and tight, and we're gonna be able to mock up a nice little joint like so. All right, so as always, I'm using the Canaweld 201 Pulse D. This machine's super dope, it's super simple. So let's just get it set up here. I think it's pretty much ready to go. First thing up, we are running DC negative, direct current negative for stainless steel. Amperage, let's turn that down a little bit. I don't think we need that much. Set it at about 60 max and then we'll go from there. No downslope because I'm using a foot pedal. About 4.5 seconds of post flow. I might turn that up. There we go. Quick little squirt of pre-flow. No upslope again. Because we're using the foot pedal, I'm gonna set it to 60 amps on the panel. So the foot pedal will dictate how much of that 60 amps we are using. Okay, so for our torch today, let's take it apart and have a look. Take the cup off. We are using a 332 screen in here. It's just a standard gas screen with a wedge collet on the inside. I love the wedge collet, it's much better. It's a Shea Spec back cap on a CK Worldwide 9 style torch. And these tungstens are the CK Worldwide laser tungstens. This silver thing here is an adapter that is made by Edge Welding. Edge Welding cups is pretty much all I'm using these days. I have used Furic cups, I love those as well, but today we're gonna use Edge. Okay, so now we got our machine, we got our torch set up. I'm gonna quickly set my gas. I'm probably gonna set my gas somewhere to be around 25 CFH coming out of the torch. And then let's tack this thing together and give it a whirl. All right, the first thing you're gonna notice here is I'm putting all my tacks in the corners. I'm not putting them in any of the middle of the passes. As you can see here, they're all tucked away into the corners, so that way when we weld over the pass, we don't have to go over any tacks. Now watch as I get close to coming to the end of this pass. When I get to the intersection where it finishes, I'm gonna fully blend the pass into the intersection so that when I go over it later, I don't have a lump to go over. I'm gonna extend my tungsten here, so I'm gonna connect from the other side. I'm gonna pull it out from in between the crotch of the joint. Yeah, I'm gonna call it a crotch, let's go with that. And I'm gonna post flow the absolute heck out of everything. Do my best to have as little oxide form as possible. All right, so now I have all my lead-ins and lead-outs finished. I'm gonna start the actual passes. I'm waiting for a good puddle to form, and once it's nice and smooth, I'm just gonna roll with it. I'm gonna try and make these as perfect as possible. Now, I definitely could have used a little more post flow here, but again, it was just enough to cover it, so it's all right. Now watch, I'm gonna show you a trick here. See how my filler rod is bent? Watch what happens when I get into the corner and I switch directions here. Ready? Ready for this? Whoop! I flip the filler rod, so now it's facing the other direction. So when I do that, I can follow the path out of the intersection with the proper filler rod angle. Obviously I sped these passes up for time saving here, but you can see I'm trying to maintain a good torch and travel angle. And I'm just focusing on keeping the puddle stabled and centered in the middle of the joint. All right, let's take a quick look at it. Overall, I'm pretty stoked on this one. I prefer to have a little bit of color on my welds, so obviously I'm pretty stoked to see a little bit of color on this guy here. If I switch to a bigger gas lens, like a 15 or something, and cranked my CFH up quite a bit, I would tend to have more gold color, but just for what we're doing here today, this is all good. It's just more about bead control and just trying to get everything the shape I want it overall. So I move it around in the light here. You can see, oh my God, those colors. That purple, oh my gosh, that purple looks so nice. This one might show up on Instagram, but overall you can see the profile of the weld stayed pretty consistent. The heat affected zone stayed pretty much the same throughout the whole thing. The stepping of all my dabs is relatively consistent. Flip it over to this side. Pretty consistent stepping, nice color. It definitely heated up quite a bit. You can see that it was on the verge of collecting a little bit too much oxide, but it stayed relatively clean. We get shiny surface. The shiny surface means everything stayed pretty much in check for the most part. Again, it's a little bit hot for my liking. I probably would throw a 15 cup or something on there and just barf a little more gas on it. But overall, what we're doing today for a little YouTube demo, I'm pretty happy with this one. Take a quick look inside. Yeah, we got a little hot on the sides there. You can see it popped through. I would detail this out with a die grinder if I were doing this for real. Also for real, I would probably cut my heat down, like I said, a little bit, so we would not have an issue with that little pop through. But overall, you can see the pop through was just on the tip of these copes here. That's obviously the thinnest part of the metal. So it's kind of understandable that that would be the spot I would pop through. For a demo, it's pretty fun. Let's not get too critical. We got some pretty welds, pretty colors, nice and shiny. Throw this one on Instagram, share it with some people. And then on the demo here, hopefully people can learn something from it. Turned out pretty good. There's a few spots I'm not very happy with, but for the most part, I'm pretty stoked on this. This is a lot of fun. If you enjoyed this episode today, or if you learned anything from me, you can pay me back. You can pay me back by going out today and doing a random act of kindness for a stranger. I don't care what, help an old lady across the street, whatever. Write something nice on someone's Instagram, I don't care. Anything to spread positivity, we need it right now. I love BMX so much. This is kind of fun to just try something that I've looked at a million times, and I've never actually tried this joint before. So shout out to all my other BMX riders out there. Let me know in the comments if you ride 20 inch as well. This is a lot of fun. I'm looking at this now, I'm pretty stoked. Should I try and make a full frame? Anyone out there, if you want me to try and make a full frame, I actually kind of want to try it now. Let me know in the comments below. I would give it a try if enough people want to see it. So again, to everybody out there who's watching, I thank you sincerely. I really genuinely appreciate it. For Pacific Arc TIG Welding, my name's Dusty. Have a good one. Peace.